Well, welcome to the Chapter 1 test review. These are the same questions that's in your notebook for the Chapter 1 test review. You just follow along. This first section deals with questions 1 through 4, and it's based on the following principle, the cost principle, where it says goods and services purchased should be recorded at their historical cost and not their current value. That's a very important concept in this stage of your accounting career. What that really means is when you buy something, you put things on the books at what you pay for them, and you take things off the books at what you pay for them. So now let's take a look at these first 4 questions based on this concept. And the reason why you do this, before we get into that, is so that things that you record are consistent, are comparable. And let's look at our first example. If a parcel of land that was originally acquired for $88,000 is offered for sale at $156,000, is assessed for tax purposes at $98,000, is or recognized by its purchasers as easily being worth $146,000, and is sold for $143,000, the land should be recorded in the purchaser's books at what? Well, it goes back to this cost principle. So here's our accounting equation, and there's the land. It's an asset and a cash, and this is on the books of the purchaser, remember now. So when we buy the land, we increase the land account on the purchaser's books by 143, and we reduce the cash account by 143. So the answer was $143,000. Let's look at the second one. If a parcel of land that was originally purchased for $86,000 is offered for sale at $150, is assessed for tax purposes at $90, is recognized by its purchasers as easily being worth $150,000, and is sold for $126,000, the land account transaction amount to handle the sale of the land in the seller's books is what? Well, here's the way we look at this on the seller's books. Here's our accounting equation. Here's the land that we originally purchased for $86,000, and the question they want to know is what would be the transaction amount on this land account to handle the sale of it. Well, if we bought it for $86,000 and we sold it for $126,000, you can only take off what was the original cost, not the whole $126,000, but what you had a cost of it for. So the answer is going to be you're going to take in $126,000 cash because that's what you were selling it for, but you reduce the land account by $186,000, and what ends up happening is the asset side goes up by 126, goes down by 86, and overall this side of the equation went up by $40,000, and therefore the owner's equity side is going to go up $40,000, and you could call this gain on sale of land if you want to. So both sides went up the same amount by $40,000. You put the land on the books for $86,000, and you took it off when you sold it for $86,000. So that's the cost principle, and that's, like I said, that owner's equity would be considered a gain on sale, which is like a revenue account. It is a revenue account. Okay. Number 3. If a parcel of land that was originally purchased for $85,500 is offered for sale at $151,000, is assessed for tax purposes at $95,500, is recognized by its purchasers as easily being worth $141,000, and is sold, and this is really all that matters, what is it sold for, is sold for $138,000, what is the effect of the sale on the accounting equation for the seller? Okay, remember, the seller bought this land for $85,500 and now is selling it for $138,000. So let's see in the seller's books how the accounting equation is affected. So there's the accounting equation, and there's the original land that we purchased for $85,500, and now when we sell it for $138,000, we take in the cash at $138,000, we reduce the land account not for $138,000 but for $85,500, and the difference looks like is going to be a gain on the sale, and that gain on the sale is going to be 52.5, and so they want to know what is the effect of the sale on the accounting equation for the seller. Well, what happens is, like I said, that was the cost principle we used to take the land off the books, and the effect of this transaction on the books of the seller would be, excuse me, let me go back there just for a second, would be that both sides went up by $52,500. Okay, now let's look at number 4. Number 4, land purchased for $92,500. It's for sale for $145,000. Is assessed at $102,500. It's worth $135,000 to its buyers and is sold for $132,000. So all that really matters here is it was purchased for $92,500. It was sold for $132,000. The seller purchased the land for $92,500, like we just said up there, and paid off a $22,500 loan after the sale. What is the effect of the sale and the payoff of the loan on the accounting equation? Well, let's take a look at that. Alright, so there's our accounting equation. There's the land, what we originally bought it for $92,500. There's a loan that we have in the books for $22,500, and let's see, all the things above this line are with the way things were before we sold the land. So now let's sell the land. So when we sell the land, we're going to take in cash of $132,000. We're going to reduce the land account to zero by reducing it by $92,500. The difference here is going to be gain on the sale, and it looks like the gain on the sale is going to be $39,500, and it's going to go to owner's equity. And let's see what else we got here. Now, there's the gain, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pay off a $22,500 loan after the sale. So let's do that. Let's reduce cash by $22,500, and let's also reduce the loan $22,500, which makes it zero. And now everything between these two lines are the two transactions that we care about: selling the land for a profit and then paying off the loan. Now the question is, what effect do both those things have on the accounting equation? That is, how did they change assets, liabilities, and owner's equity? Well, let's see what happened. Cash overall went from zero up $132,000 down $22,500, or overall cash went up by $109,500. The land account went from $92,500 down to zero, okay, or it was reduced by $92,500. The loan, which was a liability, was reduced by $22,500 as a result of these two transactions. And then owner's equity, how did it change? Well, it went up $39,500. So, in summary, we can say that overall assets went up $109,500 and they went down $92,500, or overall assets went up by $17,000. And we can also say that the liability owner's equity side went down $22,500, went up $39,500 because of the gain of sale, and overall the right side of the equation, liabilities plus owner's equity, it also went up by $17,000. So the answer here is, what is the effect of the sale and the payoff of the loan on the accounting equation? Well, both sides went up by $17,500.